Last night, the General's temple was ablaze with golden light. It lit up everything.
I saw it with my own eyes. The martial god was carrying someone in his arms when he walked into the light. I swear I'm telling the truth.
The person seemed to be wearing Hun Kingdom's armor. The martial god must have pitied us. Surely we'll win this war.
Oh, thank you, Martial God, for your protection. Thank you, Martial God, for blessing us.
Martial God, for blessing us.
The General's Temple in Yingle Village? When did I... The temple's heavy doors remain closed, yet they do little to muffle the tide of prayers rising from the people gathered outside. Light filters through the cracks of the door. They're close behind me. I turn to look. A stranger clad in armor sits with his back against the altar table, his eyes closed. One leg is bent before him. Acting on my instincts, I draw my sword and thrust it toward him. With his eyes still shut, he slightly tilts his head. The blade flies past his ear and embeds itself into the altar's table.
You're already betraying me? And in this place no less. Aren't you afraid of the martial god's punishment?
As my mind clears, what appears before me is a face that seems to transcend the mortal realm. My gaze drifts across his eyebrows, his eyes, the bridge of his nose, the contours of his face. I slowly look up. The martial god statue, seated in a haze of incense enveloping the main hall, gradually overlaps with the man before me. Fragments of the life or death struggle earlier flash through my mind. A masked figure, a double-bladed sword carving arcs of fallen leaves through the air. I look down. My armor is still ruined, yet all my wounds are gone. Only divine power could explain my current circumstances. Are you truly the martial god?
You're using a clay statue to identify the divine. Aren't you worried you might be mistaken?
I am. That's why I'm asking. Tell me whether you're a mortal or a god.
Pity I'm neither. I'm simply Rafayel.
Everyone knows the Vermilion General's name is Rafayel. That doesn't prove anything.
I'm not forcing you to believe me, so you can't force me to prove anything. However, I saved you. Not even a mortal such as yourself can deny it.
That otherworldly face is alive with his sharp tongue. All right, I didn't ask you to save me, but I'll acknowledge that fact. Whether you're mortal or a god, how should I repay you? Tell me. If you are the martial god, should I fix this temple or offer you fine wine and food? I'll do my best.
You'll fulfill my request so long as it's reasonably within your capabilities.
I shall keep my word. He suddenly takes my left hand and reveals an enigmatic smile.
What if I want your life?
I try to pull my hand back, but a faint searing heat suddenly spreads across the back of it. The glowing shape I saw moments before I fell unconscious on the battlefield appears again. It's a tiny red fish. A soul covenant?
So you know what it is.
A red fish mark appears on the back of Raphael's hand as well, though it's slightly larger than mine. It feels as though if we drew just a little closer, the two marks would complete a perfect circle.
This is what can take your life.
His impish tone makes me unsure if he's threatening me or joking. You saved me just to kill me? Are all gods this boring?
Who said I was going to take your life?
He turns his hand over and presses the mark on his hand against mine.
You are my soul's anchor in this life, with 2 fish as our witnesses.
And this means we have a covenant?
Without your life as an anchor, I cannot stay in the mortal realm as a physical incarnation.
He leans in. Those mesmerizing eyes of his reflect my image.
You live well, and I exist. When your soul disappears, I return to oblivion's embrace.
For a moment, I'm entranced by those eyes. The back of his hand feels cold against mine, yet it burns as if I've touched fire. I pull back my hand. I pause and slowly make sense of everything. So as long as you stay in this mortal form, you'll be draining my life? How is that not killing me?
You've fought on the battlefield for only a decade, right? Yet you are more bloodthirsty than the martial god who has lived for 300 years. I'm merely borrowing a smidgen of your vitality. Your life isn't at risk.
So I'll tire easily.
It's possible you'll also feel dizzy from time to time.
Irritated, I grab his armor and pull him closer. I'm a soldier. I fight. How is this any different from killing me? I'll die somewhere else with less dignity. I don't want this. Can't you break our covenant and find someone else?
You think this is a marriage you can negotiate a divorce out of? The ones with a soul covenant have their destinies bound.
A fleeting conviction crosses his face, and my heart trembles for a reason I can't explain. Yet his composed, carefree expression returns.
You said you're a soldier. On the battlefield, is there anyone more worthy of your devotion than the martial god?
I realize something, and I slowly loosen my grip on his armor. You're willing to help me on the battlefield?
You need only to spare a little of your vitality.
If he can truly demonstrate his divine power again as he did beneath the tree, then this war might not be a lost cause. What if I want to recapture that enemy general who escaped? Raphael effortlessly pulls my claymore from the altar. He turns it before offering the weapon to me.
Capturing a mere general in the midst of an army? How is that difficult?
I take the sword from him. It's not light, yet in his hands it moved as effortlessly as a dagger. I only have myself and my blade. The enemy's camp has the Geo Kingdom's finest soldiers. If I want to break through, I need to outsmart them. If I'm severely wounded, will you disappear?
That sounds like a threat.
I wouldn't dare. I can only assume the martial god has his own reasons for wanting to remain in the mortal realm. Raphael's relaxed expression fades as he looks at me.
Now you believe I'm the martial god?
I need his assistance. I'd be best to keep him in a good mood for now. I believe you. I witnessed your divinity with my own eyes. That clear gaze seems to pierce my soul, yet within their depth I catch a fleeting glimmer of something I can't quite decipher. Is it delight? Several moments pass before a smile appears on his face. However, there's a cold amusement, as if he's an observer watching everything unfold from afar. He raises his hand and traces the air above the fish mark on the back of my hand. He never exactly touches it.
Let's see if your faith will give you what you desire.
Under a faint silver of glimmering moonlight, I hold my breath as I creep toward the outer perimeter of the Chiu camp. I incapacitate a lone sentinel with the hilt of my blade. I quickly take his armor, put it on, and enter the camp unnoticed. Moving cautiously, I locate the warehouse where supplies are stored. I light a torch and set the dry hay in the bag ablaze before anyone sees me. The roar of flames mingles with billowing smoke as the fire spreads. I continue burning the hay while keeping an eye out for any movements outside. Once the warehouse fire grows large enough to draw the attention of the eastern watchtower, Rafayel can make his move from the west. At that very moment, a brilliant golden light erupts from the western side of the camp. I rush out of the warehouse, only to see the golden light emanating from the main tent in the distance. This isn't good. Has Rafayel been exposed? Ready to fight, I pull out my sword. An immense force tears through the main tent. Wooden splinters and scraps of fabric spiral into the air. Bathed in golden light, a towering figure, clad in armor, plants one foot atop a collapsed flagpole, with a fierce sweep of his double-bladed sword. As if struck by an invisible force, half of the camp's fence collapses, and the campfires are extinguished.
Where is your general?
Stunned, I watch those events unfold. I can feel the martial god's power more keenly compared to our first meeting. Just as Rafayel draws the attention of the entire camp, I stumble involuntarily. A wave of dizziness spreads from deep within my body. My head is spinning. We can't keep doing this. The harder he fights, the faster my life force is drained. I grit my teeth, and years of military strategizing help me quickly revise my plan. I need to be quick. I can't let more enemies arrive. I sprint toward the stables and slash the horses' reins. I light a bundle of dry hay and hurl it inside. The terrified horses trample over the ruined fencing and scatter. That should stop them from calling reinforcements. Several arrows suddenly fly toward me. I quickly duck behind a building and draw my bow. I aim at the archers on the watchtower. Several of them tumble from a great height. Then Raphael strides toward me through the wreckage. He's dragging someone with him.
What? What kind of monster?
The Chiu general, who had been rescued earlier, is now bound by fallen leaves shimmering with golden red light. His veins bulge as he struggles against his restraints.
Is this the man you were looking for?
I pause before nodding.
Good. You weren't slow either. Are the horses ready?
Raphael, have you never infiltrated an enemy camp before? I wipe the sweat from my face and fight back the dizziness. Gritting my teeth, I grab a war horse's reins.
Only mortals use such tactics. For me...
He hoists the enemy general with one hand and tosses him onto the horse's back.
If I deal with everyone who gets in our way, no one will be a witness to our machinations.
Smoke billows and flames dance. Amid the blaze, the martial god's visage becomes more breathtaking as light and shadow intertwine across his features. I glance at the enemy camp that's been plunged into chaos. Flames rage and panicked horses run. Then I look at Raphael, who's at ease. My belief in his status as the martial god has grown stronger. Yet, at the same time, I can't help but think. He's nothing like the martial god from the stories I've heard. Iron hooves shatter the dust of 1,000 miles. With a captured enemy general in tow, we ride until we reach an important border fortress, Yanzhou. Capturing an enemy general amidst thousands of soldiers and escaping unscathed, word of this miraculous feat spreads like wildfire. Within 3 days, it echoes through every street and alley of Yanzhou and reaches the capital. The late general I once served under received a posthumous honor, while I, Isette Larciel, am granted an exceptional promotion. As the new blade-bearing general, a residence is bestowed upon me by imperial decree, its vermilion plaque bearing the words, Manor of Blade-Bearing General. It gleams brilliantly under the sun. Even Raphael, who returned with me and whose military records remain vague, is bestowed the title of the Blaze-Born General for this extraordinary achievement. He serves as my second-in-command. When I accept my title as the Blade-Bearing General, it happens to coincide with the Han Kingdom's Heavenly Blessing Festival. It's an event that expresses gratitude for the heaven's grace and prays for peace and prosperity across the land. As night falls, lanterns form a sea of light around the city's tower. A gentle night breeze makes the red glow ripple like waves. Fireworks burst, their thunderous sparks resounding.
You're already outside? Those officials were actually willing to let the new blade-bearing general slip away?
I find Raphael at the highest point of Yanzhou's tower. He sits perched on the upturned eaves, and one of his legs dangles lazily. Those drunken men could barely hold their cups, yet they insisted I reenact how I charged into the enemy camp and captured the general that night. I agreed and took a longsword from the wall. I turned it and sliced off half of the official's sleeve without touching his skin. I scared him, tossed the sword aside, and excused myself. I said I drank too much and needed to clear my head. The honor doesn't only belong to me. Raphael doesn't respond. Instead, he leans down and extends a hand to me, his figure like a shield blocking out the clamor of clinking cups and drunken chatter behind me. I pause. Then I take his hand, and my feet feel weightless as he pulls me up onto the eaves beside him.
Military honors of the mortal realm mean nothing to me. You've already given me what I need.
He takes a flask of cold wine from my fingertips. Then what is keeping you here?
Take a guess.
You have an unfulfilled wish.
If that's the case, then you and I are quite alike. Am I mistaken?
Countless fireworks explode across the distant night sky, their sparks falling like golden raindrops. However, Raphael rests his chin on his hand and tilts his head to look at me.
Do you want me to stay? Outside of helping you win a few more battles, of course.
Those lords who never set foot on a battlefield think I was born to love war. I lower my gaze to my palms that are covered in scars from years of battle. Do you think the same?
No one would choose this path unless they had no other choice.
His tone is airy, yet it's as if he sees right through the lingering uncertainty in my heart. Thinking of his story, I wonder if he's also speaking about himself. 300 years separate our lives, yet our hearts mysteriously overlap in this moment. Even if I had thoughts like that, I never dared to say them to anyone.
Then I'll stay so you can tell me about them.
You'd stay for a simple reason like that?
As long as it's what you want, my journey here will have been worthwhile.
He speaks mischievously again. I can't tell if he said a joke or revealed his true feelings. Fireworks continue to burst intermittently across the night sky, their colorful glow flickering across his sculpted features. He suddenly raises the wine vessel in his hand, tilts his head back for a couple of swigs, and then furrows his brow.
How much water did they add to wine after 300 years? You can still get drunk from this?
Gods drink wine too?
What a curious question. Does your army have a prohibition on alcohol? Though this wine isn't worth drinking.
Of course the army has wine, but you're a god.
Yes. And where did you hear that the martial god should sustain himself on incense smoke and dewdrops like a temple's statue? Well then, go on. Why don't you light some incense for me?
I've already witnessed this martial god's unconventional nature, yet he still manages to shatter my expectations again.
I've lived amongst the immortals in the heavens. They drink more fiercely than any mortal, and their cuts of meat are bigger. Apart from living longer and having greater talents, they're no different from you.
I don't believe you. I've never been to the heavens, so you could tell me anything.
Oh?
He raises an eyebrow. There's an air of self-assured confidence about him as he waves the wine vessel in front of my face.
I'm the first god you've met. You only have my words to determine whether or not you should believe.
I I try to grab the wine vessel, but he raises it higher. I stumble and collide into him. Firework rise once more with a thunderous boom. Golden red embers cascade like blazing fallen leaves drifting across the sky. My gaze slowly meets his. The sparks' lights are reflected in those eyes.
You're not allowed to drink bad wine. I'll let you taste real liquor next time.
His smile is carefree, yet tinged with an indescribable gentleness. I come to my senses and hurriedly try to sit up, but the tassel on my clothes gets caught on his armor. I don't like drinking that much. I fumble for an excuse while desperately trying to free the tassel, but it refuses to cooperate. It becomes more tangled. A soft chuckle escapes him as slender, cool fingers brush past my fingertips.
Then will you drink with me to celebrate our next grand victory?
With a few deft twists, the tassel is freed, and he places it in my hand.
Ideally, we're accompanied by fireworks lighting up boundless streets, and they burn throughout the entire night.
His expression suggests he's recalling something, and I can't help but wonder. Is that how you celebrated when you returned victorious in the past?
Yes. It was 100 times more magnificent than this.
I curl up, my fingers tracing the tassel. It still carries a lingering, cool trace. I was a child the last time I watched fireworks in a city. My family held me as we climbed one of Honging's towers. The fireworks that night seemed to be so big and close.
Is that where you grew up?
Yes, but the Chiyo Kingdom took over and renamed it as Chiyotia City. My words are nonchalant, but perhaps my expression still gives something away. Raphael's lazy demeanor shifts ever so slightly.
Do you want to set off fireworks in Hongning City?
I freeze, and the tassel slips from my fingers. Before I can react, he has already leaped into the air. Raphael! Fire streaks across the night sky. Raphael floats in the air, the tassel dangling from his fingertips. It sways gently in the wind. A bright yet fleeting light falls onto his shoulders. Yet his bright eyes only see me.
Do you want to set off fireworks in Hongning City?
Returning to Hongning City. This vow once loomed over every corner of my heart and soul, yet years of fighting made it more akin to a distant dream. But this cherished wish, wrung and hardened into stone by reality, is laid bare by a god with a single glance. I do. I want to see fireworks in Hongning City, ones that are grander than these. A faint, almost imperceptible smile returns to Raphael's face. With a slight movement of his fingers, the tassel falls into my palm. It's as if a god made a promise to me.
Fulfilling a wish isn't difficult, so long as the soul covenant between us endures.